Hey, yo. Having to move out to the living room here. Way too hot in the bedroom. Uh, just wanted to hop on real quick. This isn't going to be any longer than 5-10 minutes, but just wanted to update you on the deal that I got going. So, anybody that hasn't been following along with something's going on here. Hopefully, this is streaming, but hopefully. But, anyways, wanted to tap in and give you an update on the deal here. If you haven't been following along, I got one deal in escrow right now. It's set to close on the 19th, which is about 8 days from today. This is going to be my first closed deal. This is actually my fourth agreement, but the first 3 deals fell through for unforeseen reasons. Me locking it up too high. A tenant was uncooperative in one that didn't allow us to get in and actually close on the property or walk the property. It was just excuse after excuse. Oh, COVID, my son broke his leg. He needs certain, like all type of stuff. So that was another one. That was the second one. And the third one, the seller lied. And then when we went to go renegotiate, he lied about the condition. And then when we went to go renegotiate, he was willing to renegotiate because he knew he was lying. But when it came down to it, he wasn't willing to sell it for the price where we needed it at. So backed out of that one. This is, again, the fourth. The situation, just to briefly update you, I went direct to seller, cold call. This is a driving for dollars lead here. If you're interested on how I generate driving for dollars leads, I just released a 3-part mini series on my channel. You can go check that out. I'm virtually driving for dollars. Cold called him, cold called the wife. The wife said that she was in the hospital. She just got surgery. So that alone kind of piqued my interest, thinking that maybe I'd be able to help them out with some medical bills or, depending on how bad it was. But she said, you got to talk to my husband. Called them the next day, or maybe about a week later or something. Called them very shortly after. First time I talked to the husband, converted him, got the close, got the agreement. They owe $48,000 on their mortgage balance. I offered $58,000 so that they can walk away with $10,000. It's absentee owned, meaning they do not live in the property. Their daughter actually lives in the property, or his daughter. I'm not sure if it's her daughter. Doesn't sound like it. I'm just kind of using context clues to come to the conclusion that it's his daughter, not hers. Anyways, it's neither here nor there. But she lives in the property. And he lives with his wife about 4 hours north, 4-hour drive north. So I soon realized once I got a hold of her, the tenant / daughter, that is going to be the relationship that was going to have to be nurtured. And I was going to have to hold her hand through it. And more and more, I just started to find that the father, the seller, didn't want any part of it. He was over it. Find out in the conversation with him that they're actually actually falling into foreclosure because the daughter has fallen into a financial situation where she was unable to continue paying down the mortgage balance. So the lender started to send them notice. And I'm not sure if they got to the point of sending them a notice of default, but essentially he knew, okay, she's no longer making payments. We owe $48,000. We need to sell. I think he was being proactive about it. He said that anytime he spoke with anybody at the bank, the lender, they were always telling him something different, probably because of just the unpredictable market right now with all the eviction moratoriums, expiring and then getting revisited and then putting back into place and then being extended another 6 months. It's like nobody knows when they're going to be able to kick a tenant out. For him, he wasn't looking to kick his daughter out, but he probably was looking to hold on to it for as long as he could to see if his daughter was going to be able to turn a new leaf. But he was all right with just parting ways and being able to walk away with some money because the property was really, 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 really bad. The condition is really bad. Spoke with her, found out that she actually lost her husband some months ago, about 6 months ago. And she openly admitted that she had fallen into a state of depression, let the property get to complete shit. Her 15-year-old son lives there with her. She has a dog, and I couldn't make it make sense. Maybe I'll do a pre-recorded video and show some pictures up on the screen of what it looks like, but man, I've never seen something so bad. Roof, there was tarps on the interior, on the ceiling, that was preventing leaks coming from the roof because there was holes. So it was essentially just like a concave tarp filled with water, just waiting for a couple extra drops to be placed there for the whole thing to just cave in and flood the inside. Looked like there was mold. Everything, it just needed to be complete gut remodel. Foundation was shot. Needed new roof. Needed new everything. So I got it under contract again for 58, and assigned it to the end buyer for 70. I have ARV looking at like 170. I think he'll probably spend like 50 to 60 going into it in rehab. So he'll probably walk away with like 40,000. He knows he hit a home run. But I'm cool with it. I'm just looking to close something, I'm telling you. So it's a $12,000 assignment fee, splitting it with my JV partner. That was another learning lesson. I didn't necessarily need him, to be honest. I was under the impression that he had all types of buyers lined up and he knew hedge funds. That's what he was telling me, at least. And then when it came down to it, none of his buyers were willing to close on it. None of his buyers were willing to come walk the property. And it was me who found the buyer. All he really did for me, in all honesty, was his cousin went out and took pictures. And then he went out there and walked the property with my buyer. And to be honest, he was the only one that showed up for the walkthrough, my buyer. And then on the spot, he negotiated with the buyer. And I hate to say this, but again, I know that my buyer knows that he hit a home run, and I know that there was more. There was more that could have been brought to the table by the buyer. I just think that my JV partner had poor negotiation skills, but I think that he was wanting to do something. He felt like he had to do something to prove his worth. And then I went to the buyer. I had the buyer sign my assignment contract. I brought it to my title company. My JV partner literally had no part in any of it, but it was. I let him know beforehand. Yeah, I'm splitting. We're gonna split. Let's all do our part to try to find buyers, and then regardless, I'm willing to split the fee with you because I'm doing good business, and which I am, which I'm going to honor. So again, but it was just a huge learning lesson, and honestly, a really big proof of concept for myself to know and see it all the way through and be able to realize, wait, I didn't even really need him. Like I went direct to seller. I negotiated the original agreement. I found a buyer for the agreement. I'm building the relationship with the tenant. I'm building the relationship with the title company. We're using my title company. I found the buyer. I had him sign off on my assignment agreement. I brought all of this to the title company. All you did was submit an invoice. I hate to say it, but his cousin, again, went out, took pictures, and he showed up 30 minutes and walked the property with the buyer and negotiated a price that honestly I think probably could have been much more. But again, that's neither here nor there. But just kind of worth mentioning, it was a huge learning lesson for myself. I could have taken down another $6,000. Not only taking down another $6,000 by just doing it myself and not going with a JV partner, but I could have taken down more because I know for certain the seller would have taken less. So it was a lesson learned in negotiation direct to seller. And I think there was more that the buyer was willing to bring to the table. So I could have stretched it on both ends and gotten rid of the JV partner. I probably could have taken down like $25,000 assignment fee on this one. Had I felt confident in myself to be able to facilitate it all. But I had every intention in going directly to the JV partner and just putting things in motion because the first 3 agreements that fell through kind of traumatized me. And I just wanted to make sure that I closed one. And now moving forward, I can start getting a little bit pickier, right? But now the last thing that needs to be done, title is essentially cleared. They're going to have to figure out, prorated taxes and all that type of good stuff when it comes down to closing. Closing date set for the 19th. Today's the 11th, so 8 days from today. Lenders on board for the 19th. The buyers seems to be on board as well. I'm on board, that's for damn sure. The seller is definitely on board. He's excited to get paid. But again, the relationship with the daughter, the tenant, is the most sensitive one. She just lost her husband. She's depressed. She's been sick apparently. But I just talked to her yesterday, and I knew this was going to be the case, so I tried to get ahead of it. Every time I talk with her father, the seller, I try to put it in his ear and say, hey, the only thing we're waiting for now is your daughter to get out. So, I mean, if you talk to her soon, just kind of put it in her ear, let her know that's the last piece of the puzzle here. And I kind of also am framing it nowadays. I talked with them about 2 days ago, 3 days ago, let them know, I kind of went out of my way to allow for the 45-day close. Typically, we like to close these things in 14 days, 2 weeks. That's really where we pride ourselves in, is in our speed. And I get that sometimes people don't want to close that quickly, so then we'll kind of entertain a 30-day close. But once it starts getting to 45, 60-day closes, unfortunately, the real estate market changes, and the offer that we made 45, 60 days ago may not make sense anymore. And it's kind of getting to that point, right, where the market is moving so drastically nowadays that I don't know if I'll be able to honor that price that I offered you 45 days ago if we're going to have to extend the closing date. So it's may come to a point where I have to revisit the numbers, and we might have to come to a new agreement. And just kind of put it in his ear like that. And so I really like to be able to honor what we agreed upon initially and close on the date that we agreed upon initially. So I'm telling him that, and he's hanging up with me, and I know he's calling his daughter right away, because when I talk with his daughter is like, yeah, I talked with my dad. So he's super excited, and he wants that 10 grand. He wasn't expecting that much, which is why I said I know that I probably could have stretched it on that end even more, probably got him down to like 50. I think he was looking for somebody to just take over payments subject to at 48,000 outstanding mortgage balance. So I think he was happy with anything, walking away with anything. That's another learning lesson. I need to be a little bit more confident in anchor pricing people. I thought that was an anchor price. I thought that was the anchor price because I didn't realize how bad the condition actually was. I was estimating like 40 grand in repairs. But I think this is, again, going to take more like 60. So I thought I had like a $40,000 spread on this thing. But ended up not being the case. But speaking with the tenant, talked to her yesterday. She called. Sorry, Derek, I've been sick the past few days. Here we go. I just wanted to see if it was possible that I had, a little bit more time to move out. And I was like, yeah, well, I mean, you still have what, 9-10 days to get out of there. Are you saying that you need more time beyond that? And she's like, possibly. And I said, all right, well, I talked with your dad. He kind of let me know the game plan for you, right? Is you had a friend that has a trailer. She has a friend that has a trailer park. He has a trailer in that park that is available for her to move into. It sounds like probably rent free. It's just that the trailer is going to need to be repaired a little bit before somebody can move in, and that's going to take about a month. So her plan is to then her and her son to move into a motel in the interim while that's getting repaired, so that at the end of the month she can go ahead and move into the trailer. And I just kind of pitched that because that's what her father had told me what her plan was. So I was like, does that sound like that's what's going on? I just want to make sure that I'm understanding correctly. And she's like, yeah, that's what I'm planning to do. It's just that I've been so sick and I had to take work off, and I just don't know. I have the next couple of days off, so I'm gonna try to pack up as much stuff as possible. And I'm like, look, this is something that I talked about with your father. I don't know if he mentioned it to you, but I want to propose something and to see if, we may be able to come to some type of informal agreement on this. I want to be able to alleviate some of your stress and concerns in terms of the monetary aspect of all this. I don't want you to have to worry about, I was saying, it seems like, you're sick. I'm sure that you're probably worried about moving and the expenses that are going to come with that, especially because you've been missing time from work because you've been sick. And it sounds like you're going to miss another couple of days. So I don't want you stressing about the money. All I want you focused on is to grab your things and get out. I don't say it like that, but essentially I just want your attention to be on the moving out process and not, have a million other things in your head. One of them being the money. So if I can, provide, I was going to say maybe up to $500 of expenses. That way, that can cover maybe a month of self-storage and, a couple of weeks of that motel there. Is that something that you'd be open to if you can get out by the date that we have, which is the 18th and 19th? And she's like, yeah, yeah. And she got super excited. I knew that that's why she was calling me, because I had just talked to her father about the day prior and said that to him. So I'm sure he relayed that to her, and that's why she was calling me. And I kind of knew it. So I let her know, and she's like, yeah, oh my gosh, thank you so much, Derek. So she was supposed to text me. She was supposed to text me at the motel, because I was telling her, I was framing it like, we would likely have to reimburse you. That way we're not just paying you to do this, or, we're not just paying you money and hoping that you're going to do it. So if you can get out by the closing date and provide me some type of receipt or proof of purchase for, a week's stay, 2 weeks stay at the motel, and like a month of self-storage, I'd be more than willing to reimburse you for that. And I framed it like that because I don't have the money to front her. I need to get my assignment fee before I confront her. Or before I could pay her. So she was okay with that. She was supposed to text me. She was supposed to text me the information of the motel that she was looking into. She didn't. She was supposed to text me that this morning, and she didn't. So I texted her and I said, I'm just going to read you the text, because I was a little worried. I was thinking to myself, dang, like hopefully she's not trying to pull another fast one and let more time pass. And then, oh, sorry, I've just been so sick, I haven't been able to do the motel thing. So I was like, I'm getting ahead of it. I texted her saying, sorry, I do all my lead follow-up and stuff on Google Voice, and it's just not as nearly as fast as my actual phone. It's actually so slow. Like so slow. Texted her saying, so slow. Texted her saying, hey, Christy, it was a pleasure speaking with you yesterday. I hope that you're feeling a bit better. Just to reiterate our conversation yesterday, if you are able to be moved out by the 18th/early morning of the 19th, which is the closing date, I'm willing to help you out with living expenses up to $500. If you can do that for me, I'm more than happy to do that for you. And she says, okay, got it. So sounds like we're on board. That provides me peace of mind, I'll tell you, because that's the last, like I said, the last thing, last piece of the puzzle here. So everybody keep your fingers crossed that she's out. I really want her to be out on the 18th, so that we can just on the 19th have no other worries and just close on the 19th. I don't want the 19th to happen and be like, all right, like, is she going to get out? Like, what's going on? Like, I have the mobile notary going to the seller, the father's house. I have the buyer and his lender here. Like, I really don't want that to be the case. So I plan on following up with her on Monday, what is that going to be? Like the 16th, I plan on following up with her Monday, the 16th, just to see, hey, have you put things in motion? What's it looking like? Will you be out by Wednesday, the 18th? And then, that way I can provide just like confirmation to everybody, the buyer, his lender, the title company, my JV partner, the seller, that everything's good to go. She's going to be out by this time on this date. Keep your fingers crossed. Make sure she gets out of there. And then I'll be sure to share with you that wire that touches down once I get it. I'm not going to wait and have them send me a check. So I'm looking to get it wired. Appreciate everybody that's stopping by, tapping in. It's Derek for Real, California Connect, virtually wholesaling from California in a market near you. If you like this type of content, I'd appreciate it if you liked, commented, any recommendations, suggestions of content you would like to see in the future. And I go live at least once a day, if not 3 to 4 times a day, documenting my cold calling, lead follow-up process in my first deal. And I'm also starting to pre-record videos so that you can just actually see what I'm doing on the computer as opposed to staring at my ugly face. So if you're looking forward to some more content like that as well, please feel free to subscribe and appreciate every single one of you. Until the next one. Peace.